Good morning, everybody, and welcome to PSG of Mercer County. The professional service group of Mercer County is here for you, anybody that's in any kind of career transition. And of course, happy Aloha Friday. And so those of you who've known me for the however many years I've been doing this, 10 plus, I wear Aloha shirts every Friday to celebrate. So anyone comes here is always welcome to do so as well. And, you know, in addition, today is National Clams on a Half Shell Day. And we were going to celebrate, but the odor probably would have been a little tough in the room. But it celebrates the lovers of the world's one of the most unique dishes that we serve in the world, clams on the half shell. So, and it's great for Lent because it's clams, right? No meat on Friday. So for those of you celebrating Lent, continue to celebrate. And so PSG of Mercer County is here for anyone who is in any kind of career transition. We are here to help you be more efficient and more effective in your own job search. And we do have a lot of options for you that allow you and resources for you that allow you to take advantage to be more efficient and effective as well. And for one thing, we do have our LinkedIn group. Works out very well since today we're doing a program on LinkedIn for job seekers. And so you can join our LinkedIn group on LinkedIn. Just look for us, PSG of Mercer County. It is a public group, so you should be able to see it. But once you click the join button, we'll put you in pending status because what we do is we do check our attendance rolls to make sure that the people that we accept into our group have indeed been to at least one of our sessions here. And what we're trying to do is just keep out the list collectors, the name collectors, people that are just looking for lists of people for their own benefit, and keep the group really for people that are passionate about helping each other and helping job seekers. So we'll check once or twice during the week if we see your name and accept you then. Our group is over 1,700 members, our LinkedIn group, so there are a lot of people there. They have all people that have come through our program, have been here at least once. So there's a good chance as you conduct your own job search, as you use LinkedIn maybe to look for contacts and you reach out to them, if they're people that you're connected to through the LinkedIn group, a good chance they're going to contact you back. You know, a lot of complaints are some people don't contact or respond to LinkedIn emails, and that sometimes can happen, of course, but there's a better chance when it's in a like-minded group of people, like our LinkedIn group. We do also have our website. Our website is psgofmercercounty.org, psgofmercercounty.org. It is over 120 pages of website content. It is more than just a landing page with the times of our meeting. So do take a look at it when you can. We have a page, there's a link on top, a menu item called Resources. And if you weren't sure what that Resources page is, it is a page full of, thank you, resources. We have 48 resources. You'll see logos with links behind them. There are 16 networking groups or groups that are kind of like this. So those are available. There are 32 other career resources, which include state agencies, career coaches, and the like. There's one link for a personal wellness site if that's of interest to you, and there's one link for a mental health site as well if that's of interest. You know, job search is a very stressful time for a lot of people, and if you just need a little clarity from an independent source, that's why we put the wellness and the healthcare links there as well. Our website is not the be-all and end-all for anything in job search, but it's a terrific place at least to get started on the topics that we talk about there. So hopefully you can use it as a good resource. In just a moment, we're going to very happily turn over the session over to Lynne. And we ask that if you want to do any questions, ask any questions of Lynne, you do so. And so for those of you in the room, we've got a nice turnout today. If you don't mind, please step up to the microphone and ask your question. And it's really so you can be heard to the virtual group as well. And so that's why we ask of that. And when you do so, kind of keep it close to you. And the reason why is you'll be heard a little bit better. If you don't, you might feel me push your back closer to the microphone if you hear that, just to make sure you get heard. If not, Lynne will repeat the question, but that's our preference. So just in the room, raise your hand. We're going to be monitoring chat. So folks, if you want to ask virtually, questions through chat. Alan and I will be monitoring that and raising our hand to get Lynne's attention. And we have a microphone back there as well. Or unmute yourself for those of you virtually and just politely find a good time, maybe when Lynne changes bullet points or takes a deep breath or whatever. And you can ask your question then. And when you're done, we'll just ask, please keep yourself on mute. Otherwise, we're just trying to keep any accidental background noise from coming through. And if there is two things. One is Alan and I will quickly mute you. And if it's on the recording, we are recording this session, I'll probably just edit that out later. So this way, Lynne will be even more perfect than she is. Okay, so with that, PSG of Mercer County is pleased to welcome Lynne Williams. Lynne Williams is an educational doctorate candidate, is the executive director of the Philadelphia area Great Careers Group, which provides online career education and networking for career transition and career management. She also writes resumes, LinkedIn profiles, and LinkedIn company pages, and focuses on keywords, which is, of course, very key. She is working on her doctoral dissertation on the topic of LinkedIn. You can connect with Lynne on LinkedIn, and you can also visit her on Linktree, another virtual website, to learn more. PSG is very well pleased to welcome our own guardian angel, Lynne Williams.
Well, thank you so much for having me back here. This is my first hybrid event, so this is kind of exciting for me. It's spring, and I'm here to plant some seeds today so that hopefully, we add a little water and some sunshine and make them grow. And hopefully you will have some new ideas to start building your brand and your LinkedIn profile. Right now, I'm going to pull up my deck. It is a Google slide deck. It is not a PowerPoint. So it is live and living, and there are hyperlinks in there. So for anybody who wants to, you don't have to take a picture of each and every slide. You only need this one and only page. So if you were to type in that https://bit.ly for job seekers 23, you will get this entire deck. And you can look at it and revisit it again at your leisure. So I do this because if I wanted to tweak or make a change to any of the slides, add to, delete, modify, I can easily do that. And if you were to come back and visit this a few months from now, it might be a little bit different, but you'll still have all the information available. I have not been here to the Princeton Public Library for over 3 years. It's been a kind of a weird 3 years we've had. So I'm very happy to be back here. I think I've spoken here at least a dozen times.
A bunch, yeah.
Yeah, at least a dozen times and on a panel. So thank you very much for having me back, and hope to bring some value here to you today. All right. So if your LinkedIn profile is not working for you, you might need to do some strategy changes. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Just to give you a little background, LinkedIn was launched in 2003. So this year in May is the 20th anniversary. It has over 900 million people on the platform globally. And there are 66.8 million monthly active users in the United States alone. It used to be that every second, 2 people would join LinkedIn. And new statistics I just saw is that every second it's 3 people. So I'm sure that LinkedIn is hoping that by the time May comes, they will have reached that billion mark. So that'll be a big celebration. Something that's very basic. You have to customize your LinkedIn URL. When you sign up for LinkedIn, You get some gobbledygook of numbers and letters after your name, and you want to customize it before you put it on any business card, on any resume, etc. So if you don't know how to do that, or you need some ideas because somebody already has that URL, you click on that, if not, read this, and you will see a picture of me at LinkedIn in New York City. This was back in 2019, where I got to have my 15 minutes of fame presenting to a group of veterans, my thoughts on LinkedIn. So here are some suggestions. If your name is John Doe, you can have it together with dashes, add your middle initial, add some certifications or something afterwards. So this article will give you that, step by step as to how to do that. The next thing I want to talk about is your banner memorable? The greenish grayish one at the top, that is the standard default LinkedIn banner. And I don't know about you, but I think you need to do something. It doesn't take that much effort to do something. So the one in the middle, it is a waterfall. Could you have a waterfall? Could you have a ski scene? Could you have a beach? You like those things? Sure, for Facebook, in my humble opinion. It does not belong on LinkedIn. I don't think that personal interest showcases you as a professional. Now, the one at the bottom right is, I am equity because equity starts with everyone. I believe in equity. I believe in diversity, inclusion, belonging, accessibility, and justice. But I'm not going to put that on my banner, okay? That is a standard banner choice from LinkedIn. I'm not going to use any one of their standard banners. I'm going to customize it. I need to make it special for me. Why? I'm special, and so are you. So you need to figure out how you can be unique, and it's not that hard to build a banner. You got to think about your personal brand. What's going to differentiate you? What's going to distinguish you from other people? 900 million people on the platform. What's your secret sauce? How do you stand out amongst your competitors, so to speak, if you're a job seeker, and colleagues, if you happen to be self-employed? So one thing you might do, just to get a baseline number, is check your social selling index. Now, this particular image was taken a while ago. It shows that I have an 83 out of 100, and that I'm in the top 1% of the industry SSI rank, and I'm in the top 1% of the network, in my network SSI rank, and I have a little over 17,000 connections on LinkedIn. But you can see my banner was different then. Now, it says the top one is establish your professional brand. The second one is find the right people. The third one is engage with insights. And the fourth one is build relationships. The purple one happens to relate to Sales Navigator. I do not have the Sales Navigator platform. I do pay for a LinkedIn Premium, but I don't pay for LinkedIn Sales Navigator. And because of that, I believe that my purple will never, ever reach 25 until I do, and I become very active on that platform. But I want to show you how, if you click on this link, you have to have your LinkedIn profile open. So I'm not too far off from what I was. I am now an 81, but I'm still 1% and 1%, which is good. But it shows you now that I've established my professional brand. I do have 100% there, and I'm building relationships. So again, the purple will never be, up in the 25 out of 25 unless I get Sales Navigator. And here's the other thing that I am not 100% on, it's Engage with Insights. Well, because I write resumes and LinkedIn profiles, because I run a nonprofit, and because I am working on my doctoral dissertation, I do not have all the time in the world to engage on LinkedIn with everybody else's content and make comments and whatnot. So, that is why I'm not at 100%, is because I am human and I have bandwidth, and I'm not going to push those limits. But if you scroll down, you'll see, the people in my industry are normally a 38 out of 100. And then people in my network are 43 out of 100. So let's look at this as your report card on LinkedIn and where you're starting out on the platform. And then when you start tweaking your LinkedIn profile, you can see, if these numbers and bar charts and circles and whatnot move, okay? So I'm going to click out of that, and we're going to go to the next slide. So how do you become memorable on LinkedIn? These are custom banners from some of my clients, and I got a couple stories about them. So the one at the top left with the Swiss Army knife, he wanted to be known as a transformer. And I said, well, give me a symbol of what that means. Like, give me a vivid image of an object. He said, Swiss Army knife. I said, okay, great. So we're going to build your banner red, black, and white. Is that right? He said, yeah, I like that. I said, okay, so you need to go get a professional photo taken. And what are you wearing? A red tie and a black suit? I'm like, yeah, you got it. You got to get your brand together with your photo, with what you're wearing, along with what's on your banner. Now, the guy at the top left was referred to me by the guy at the bottom right. In his case, I said, Jeffrey, I don't like your picture. I don't like your banner. You are a business owner for almost 14 years, and now you want a W-2 job, and you just got your sustainability certificate. So what color do you think you should be wearing when you go get a professional photo? He said, green? And I'm like, yeah, green is about environment and sustainability. So he went out and got a green tie, he got a professional picture taken, and you notice that is a very particular color of green. I made it to match his tie. All right, the top right is very colorful. And she loved when I came up with the idea of mixologist. She's a managed care, professional in the healthcare system. And she loved big mixologist. So she said, well, we could be talking about blending smoothies. We could be talking about mixing drinks. We could be doing flasks and test tubes, science related. But I really want something bright and colorful. So I pulled up Canva and we started scrolling through the templates, and she said, that's it. That's what I want. She loved the idea of the bright colors and that all the colors were mixed and blended together, an artist's palette. So that was some symbolism for her there. Now the bottom left is a marketing executive, and he came up with his USP, unique selling proposition, brevity and wit sparked by caffeine. So he's a content writer. So there you have a little picture in the circle, somebody writing, and you got that Java jolt, very important. I gotta have mine every morning. Now the ones in the middle, I had built the first one first. This lady had just got on LinkedIn, and if I asked her questions, she wouldn't have known the answers because she just got on LinkedIn. She doesn't know what she doesn't know. So I decided to take a stab, and I said, okay, you are a DE mortgage underwriter. What does somebody need to know about you that's special? Like, what's important for you to know in if somebody wanted to hire you? She said, well, you have to be accurate and you have to be speedy. I'm like, okay, cool, I'll take that. And what are your favorite colors? Blue and purple. Okay, I'll run with that. So I found this image of a laser that I put on top of a standard Canva template. But those little blue connectivity dots, they were on the right side, and I just decided to do a flip so that it would be on the left. So that laser, doesn't your eye draw to that? You know, and if somebody didn't remember her name, but they remembered looking at a whole bunch of profiles of underwriters, which are, it's a troubled market right now. There's a lot of underwriters looking for jobs. But if they remembered the word laser focused or even laser, and somebody went to search for that on LinkedIn, who do you think they'd find, right? They would find her. Now, the one on the right, she liked that background, that blue background with the little connectivity dots. But this is a recent college grad who's working on her master's degree. She's not just a bioinformatician, she's an artsy bioinformatician. And you can see by the logos on that middle right one, she does Python, SQL, R, and Java. So you've got somebody in biology that also knows, you know, some software programs, and it makes it very clear what it is that she does and how she's presenting herself. I have some examples that I'll bring up of the profiles, just so you can see these. But let me go to the next slide, and yeah, I'm going to do that now. Okay. Now, we may have some people that are listening today who are self-employed, solopreneurs, business owners. So I want to bring up somebody who is that, and then I'm going to get back to a job seeker. This one, you can tell by the 3 things she does on her banner. She does franchise your business, own a franchise, and a realtor. She does 3 things. So there's a little symbolism in there with the little triangle lights, okay? And then we get into the USP, unique selling proposition, in her banner, where it says, better than a triple dip ice cream, providing you with a trifecta of solutions to multiply your business, find the right fit business, or real estate. Now, does the triple dip ice cream make you smile? Does it bring back warm, fuzzy memories, maybe of your childhood or going out with your grandkids or your kids, right? So you may not remember her name, but you may associate the word franchise with her and ice cream. So if you've got a name that is either common or not common, you know, how is it that whatever it is that you do can be associated with some vivid image? I'm going to call this a memory dart. There's a gentleman by the name of Steve Woodruff, W-O-O-D-R-U-F-F. Steve Woodruff wrote an article, and you can Google it. Just type in Steve Woodruff and memory dart. So when you're giving your elevator pitch, you want to make it short and sweet and memorable. So if you think about it, isn't your headline on LinkedIn kind of like your elevator pitch? You only have 220 characters. You want to make it short and sweet and memorable. You want to stand out in that crowd. You want to be that fish in that big pond of 900 million people. So if nothing else, if people don't remember your name, maybe they're looking for some particular role and they associate it with an object of some sort. Now, I'm going to go down to her about section just because I've got her on here now. Short and sweet paragraph. We have some emojis, and here's the first part of her business with a bunch of bullet points, second part of her business with some bullet points, third part of her business with bullet points, core competencies, and contact info. We're going to talk more about that, but I just want to show you what it looks like to not have dense paragraphs in the about section. When I look at dense paragraphs, I don't read it. I am faced with too much content every day, torrents of content, and I don't have time to read stuff. I just want to skim and scan and get a handle on people. Now, some of my clients are not necessarily looking for a job. They may be just doing career management and they wanted to build a brand and have an existence on LinkedIn. So here's somebody I actually finished this week. She wasn't on LinkedIn. And you can see she's got 94 followers, so she's just getting going, right? She loved the background. She didn't want to have a plain background. She loved the yellow and green and orange flowers in the back. So I'm like, okay, well, let's build a banner and let's incorporate, the yellow in your name and the white in your USP, which was very important to her. Normally, I put the USP, unique selling proposition, at the end of a headline. She wanted it at the beginning. That was important to her. So, student success and well-being, champion of first-generation college students from lower income communities, innovator, basic needs, program development, and she was going to put in DEI, and I said, let's go that step further and do the B, the A, and the J also. And she was absolutely down with that. So let's take a look at her about section. Now, you know how you have a profile summary paragraph at the top of your resume, or maybe you should have one, so, we've got that woven in, and it's broken up into little bits and bite-sized pieces instead of a paragraph. We've got some pops of color and emojis. And then she's woven in some of her personal philosophies at the beginning. You do not want to write your about section with as a third person bio. You either want to write it as first person implied I, or you want to write it as first person. In my humble opinion, you don't want to use the word I starting too many sentences. I'm a former K-12 teacher. I have 9 Pennsylvania Department of Education certifications. One of them is high school English. And I just want you to think of me as a little mini me on your shoulder, holding the red pen, the teacher with the red pen. If you've got all these sentences in your LinkedIn About section that start with I'm going to circle all of them, and I'm going to count them, okay? And I'm going to tell you, figure out how to write and have one. Or you can even do like currently, comma, I, at present, comma, I. Do something. When people come to your LinkedIn profile, it's not about you. It's about the value you can bring to somebody else as a job seeker. It's the pain points you can solve. the problems you can solve. So you have to look at it from the reader's point of view, and they want to say, yeah, I want this person. They got the secret sauce of what I need for my business. So you have to balance how you're going to write it. And again, if you have lots and lots of paragraphs, you know, somebody's got to really, really want to read that. I do read those occasionally because sometimes people have some pretty cool stories. But for the most part, I'm just too busy. I don't have time. I want to skim and scan and get a handle on you. Now, let me go to Jeffrey. Here's the green tie. He has not uploaded his new banner yet. I used to put what was in the headline in the banner, and I've just probably in the past 3 weeks changed that. I just decided I want the name and the USP, unique selling proposition, because that way, you know, they don't have to keep coming back to me, so to speak, to update their banners and whatnot. They can just update their headlines as needed. So if you go down to Jeffrey, you'll see he was actually owner founder of the Diverse Paragon. And I said, Jeffrey, if you're going to go from 1099 to W-2, I don't want you to be owner founder. I want you to be managing director. So that's what we did. We changed his title, and he landed as executive director of Clean Air North Carolina. Here's Charles. Okay. Charles' picture, his head was exploding out of the circle. And so after we built the banner, he knew he had to go get a picture, red tie, black suit. I'm like, dude, you look good. Does he look good? I mean, it's totally professional there. And he's got it all together with the brand. He's working, you know, he's another person who wanted to do a cleanup on their LinkedIn profile and build their brand. So let's take a look at Lynne. So she hasn't uploaded her new profile or banner where I put just the USP in. And she was going to go out and get a professional photo taken, but she had a lot of background going on in that picture. So I had to change it. And I'm like, well, what color do you want me to pick out? She says, I like that turquoise color in the middle of the picture. So I just did, you know, a color picker and matching for that. Now, one thing about Lynne, she did actually land a part-time role. She just wrote me a recommendation, and I didn't even know she landed a part-time role while she's in school. She's actually going back to school. But I want to, you see right here, it says seeking new opportunity, value-based contracting, medical, cost transformation, managed care. She has got a LinkedIn company page. So we're going to talk about that. As a job seeker, if you don't have a to-present job on LinkedIn, you need to fill that gap with something. So I want you to think about building a LinkedIn company page. But look at the tagline here, seeking new opportunity, hashtag ONO, which stands for open to new opportunities, hashtag open to work. This is like a free website for you, right? And it fills that to present gap. So you can put, you know, more details in your overview section. You've got 20 specialties that you can put in here. And it's very clear that you're not working because you have seeking new opportunity. All right, let's talk about that profile photo. Are there any questions so far, David, in the chat?
No.
No? Okay, great. All right, is your profile photo, is it friendly? Do you look charismatic? There's a platform called photofeeler.com, and it's one of those quid pro quo platforms where if you put your picture up there and you view other people's pictures and give feedback, then they will view your photo and give you feedback. If you don't have time to view other people's photos, you can actually pay the platform and they will put out in the algorithm and put it out for you so that you can get that feedback. But just like Jeffrey wearing the green tie and Charles wearing the red tie, what are you wearing, right? I had a guy, let me pull him up. He was wearing a collared shirt. He's a marketing executive. And I'm like, well, you want to dress for the job you want, not the job you have. So always err on the cautious side and step it up a notch. Here's that coffee and that writing, okay? I just learned, I'm doing his girlfriend's profile and spoke to her last night. I just learned they're moving out to Washington State. So you see how he has, oh, it doesn't have his location on here. Okay. It does say greater, oh, okay. Oh, yeah, it does. Okay. So Greater Philadelphia will soon need to change to, Tacoma, Seattle, wherever they're moving to. So if you are going to relocate, you want to always think future forward. Think future forward in your job, your keywords, if you're reinventing or pivoting, and think future forward in your location. Now, I'm going to go to his About section while I happen to be on it. This was done quite some time ago, so I didn't quite use as many emojis as I would today, but I'm just going to plant some seeds here. Here you've got a paragraph that is the profile summary paragraph from the resume. Here are career highlights. These are your sweet spots. They're not just keywords, but there's a place where you can put your accomplishments, what you want to be known for, your bailiwick, as I said, your sweet spots. So these are buckets, big picture buckets. Here we have strategic and tactical visionary, business development champion, content deployment expert, team builder. And then you've got that writing that goes along with it. And you can see those numbers in there. You see how the numbers pop? They pop because it's white space. White space is your friend. Now, you don't want white space in the core competencies. That's a big old long list. You don't need that because it's short and sweet. But these are all keywords. He wants to be found by these keywords. And then he has technical skills. And you notice all the keywords and the technical skills, everything's in alphabetical order. So when you have a hiring manager, you have somebody who's thinking of must-haves, nice-to-haves, oh, and he or she also has. So if you make it easy for them to process logically, alphabetically, then, they'll see those must-haves, nice-to-haves, and also-haves. He is seeking new opportunity, hashtag ONO, hashtag open to work. So if you are currently unemployed, you can put that in your About section. If you are employed and you're thinking of moving to greener pastures, you can't put that in your about section. You can't put that in your current work section, but you can put it in a previous job section. And guess what? It is searchable on LinkedIn. So people who are recruiters, they may be using the Recruiter Lite platform. They may be using the Recruiter platform. But if they don't have the money to spend for those platforms, they're doing something called a Boolean search. And when they do a Boolean search, they can put in seeking new opportunity, hashtag O&O, hashtag open to work, or any combination thereof, and quote project manager, and Boise, Idaho, and Princeton, New Jersey, whatever. They can target and get down to then like nano details of special keywords to find you. So if you don't have that in there, you're not going to get found. I've had senior executives come to me and they say, oh, I just have my title and my company. I'm like, how does anybody know what you do or what you did, what your accomplishments are? If there's nothing there, there's nothing there. People don't have ESP. Put it in there. Put it in there, right? You got to toot your own horn. You got to create your own brag book. This is you. This is your career. I use resume content for LinkedIn. If you're going to spend the time working on crafting and wordsmithing a resume, and especially you get those numbers, so you tell people how you helped a company make money, save time, improve processes, you got percentages, dollars, or numbers, you got to rewrite that? No. So I believe your resume content should go on LinkedIn, but LinkedIn is so much more than that. So, take advantage of and build it. It's your online portfolio and online platform. Okay, let's go on to, I wanted to talk about make or remove a background.
Lynn, we do have a comment in the chat.
Sure, great.
The person is saying they don't see how the Army knife fits into the brand.
They don't see how the what?
Your example where they had the Swiss Army knife, how that fits into the brand that the person.
He wants to be known as a transformer. And a Swiss Army knife does a whole bunch of different things. It transforms things. But that was his choice of an image. So, I collaborate with people. There's lots of resume writers that will take your resume, ask you a few questions, turn it around and turn it back. I don't. I have a whole process of working with people and collaborating on Zoom one-on-one until we get to what we want. And, I like the Swiss Army knife. I thought it was a pretty cool idea. And I actually wrote an article today, and I will pull that up. I haven't published it on my LinkedIn or on the Great Careers platform. But I write for 4 online magazines. Vista.today is Chester County, Pennsylvania. Bucksco.today, Bucks County. Delco.today and Montco.today, obviously Delaware County and Montgomery County. I've been writing for them since February 2019. So my article that should be down here somewhere. Okay, how to build your color brand on LinkedIn. So I actually put the example, if you are a transformer or jack of all trades in your industry, a red Swiss Army knife might be a symbol on a black and red and white banner, okay? So another example was, somebody might include a symbol like a yellow sunflower on their banner, and that represents invisible disabilities. And also in the mental health field, sunflowers represent endurance, hope, and resiliency. So you can play with colors and symbols in your banner. So it depends on, who you are, what you represent, what your industry is. And if you're in software, you can put those little icons of software on your banner. So you will see this coming on my LinkedIn profile at some point in time. So back to Madison. So Madison got his picture taken, and I knew that based upon what he was wearing, a blue shirt and yellow tie, I wanted to have a blue background. I wanted it all to match and look nice, right? So I built that blue background with this little tool called pfpmaker.com. So what you do is you upload a photo, and let's see if I've got a photo handy here. Okay, here's Tanya. So I'll just upload her photo because you've already seen her. And this is a free platform. So here it's generating profile pics. And it'll come up with some standard, pics. I don't know what the shading is about on some of these. It's kind of odd. But see these fun backgrounds? Okay, it gets into black and white. It'll get into some colors in the background, and silhouettes are coming up, etc. Now, there's a little raindrop here. So if I click on that and I wanted to pick a specific color palette or gradients, I could do that. So let's say it's turquoise, right? So if I go up here, you're going to see, that particular gradient and color palette in her background. Now, if I were to go on this little raindrop again and click on RGB, well, I could move this around and pick a specific color, or I could type in a hex color. And that's one of the things that I noted in that Vista.today article. There's a site for the hex colors, RGB colors, HTML colors, etc. So there's a link in that article. But 19B CCE, okay. How do I know that one? Guess what my favorite color is? There you go. So here's just an example of, changing your background, and it could give a little depth behind your picture. And let's say your banner was, a turquoise color, and then you put your other information in there. Yeah.
How were you able to eliminate the circle in the back? If you go down.
Okay, want to speak into the mic?
How were you able to eliminate the circle if you scroll down a little bit more? More. Yeah. See the two up there, the one at the very top that's out there, and then this one with the splash of color in the back. How do you do that?
These are all standard on this platform.
All right, so in other words, you can go to that platform and then choose this?
Yes.
Oh.
So let me show you how easy it is to choose it. She wanted to know how to get, certain pictures of these. If there's standard things that just absolutely just pop up on pfpmaker.com. So let's say I wanted this one, okay? You see these little green buttons? All I do is click download and look down at the bottom left of my screen. There it is, profile pic. So if I were to drag and drop it to my desktop or in a file on my computer, I could then right click on it and rename it, whatever I wanted to call it in the name of the banner. So again, you go to pfpmaker.com, drag and drop your photo in. You get standard stuff that's available right here, what you see. And then if you want to customize it, you just do the little raindrop, and you can choose from their color palette, or you can go with a specific hex color or something that you like. So if you know the hex color of your business logo, or of what you want your brand to be, or match your tie like we did with Jeffrey, that was a very specific green hex color. If you wanted to use that green in other platforms, or posts or something like that, he would know that hex color, so he could do that whole matchy-matchy thing for brand consistency. Now I want to show you somebody who did use that pfpmaker.com. Oh no, he changed it. How about that? Okay, never mind. I can't think of anybody else right at the moment that we got that background on. But okay.
Excuse me, Lynn?
Yeah.
So one thing is, I did put in the chat, there's an RGB to hex color code converter. So if you need the hex code or the RGB code, the 3 sets of numbers, that's in chat. We can download that. There is a question from David, which is not me. Can you talk about creator mode and if that helps amplify your brand?
Oh, that's a great question. I'll answer that in a second. I'm going to comment on the RGB. So if you go into this article, there's Pantone colors, and then here's this link that I put in here. And this one does have the hex color and RGB, etc., and color names. So I thought this was a pretty good site, but it's pretty comprehensive. Okay, let's talk about creator mode. So what is creator mode? Creator mode is when you see people that have these 5 hashtags at the top of their profile. You will not see a connect button in blue. In order to connect with people that have creator mode on, until they roll out the connect button to everybody, they're adding it back in. For the meantime, you're going to have to click on more, and then you'll see the connect button. So a lot of people wind up just doing follow because they don't know that they need to click on the more button. So these 5 hashtags are ones that I've selected, that I've chosen, that I would typically write about and put in the bottom of my posts. You can see this one, Great Careers PHL. That is a custom branded hashtag for our nonprofit. So, I hope people would follow that. But here I am doing general resume tips, LinkedIn tips, career education, and applicant tracking system. I might actually change the career education to career development. And why don't I just do that live so you can see what it is, okay? So here, down in resources, is creator mode. So I'm going to click on creator mode, and I don't need to type the hashtags in when I put the words in. But if I want to get rid of one, I'm going to get rid of career education. And now I want to add topics. I'm going to type career development. And I'm going to hit save. So now I have, hopefully, go back to my profile. Did it take? It did not. Let me give it a refresh. All right, it did not. Let me try it again. All right, we're gonna add topics. Career development. Hit enter. Oh, I had to hit enter. That was my problem. And then click save. So now when I go back to my profile, that career development one should be on there, and there it is.
Quick
Yeah.
question.
You want to get up to the mic, please? And speak closely to the mic.
Just a question. When you come to your page, your picture, you have two different pictures that show up. One is like a video. I'm just curious about that.
Okay. I will answer that question. Let me just keep going on creator mode just a little bit. So does creator mode help you build your profile? Well, I would say yes, because you're getting people focused on the hashtags and the topics that are important to you. You can put those hashtags in your post, and you can do other things on the platform, like have access to LinkedIn Live, LinkedIn Audio, newsletters, I don't remember the whole list of everything for creator mode. I'd have to go back and research that one because I've had mine on for quite some time. But I would say, yes, you would want to have creator mode on, and I normally get that fixed for clients. But having your hashtags and what you stand for is a little bit different than hashtags that you follow. So I'm going to click on my square LinkedIn, and I'm going to go down to the skinny left side column here, and you're going to see down here it's followed hashtags. What topics or people with custom branded hashtags am I following? So I would add, something that I wanted to follow, and then I would also delete something that was not of interest to me. So you can follow lots and lots of hashtags. I've got 156. So these are the types of things that are coming into my feed by interest, which is different than me stating what it is that is important to me to put in the hashtags. Now, as far as my picture, I did get a professional picture taken. I haven't had time to upload it. I have 3 of them that I have to choose from, and I thought, I should do a post that does a poll. Do you like number 1, 2, or 3? I wanted to do that. I wanted to get feedback on which picture would be better, but doggone it, I've been really busy. And I just haven't had a chance to do that. So this picture is old. This was taken in 2014 with an iPhone at the time in 2014. So it's not as clear and crisp as it should be, but I really like my new pictures. I just have to get there. Now the video that pops up behind it is something that you have to record on your phone. So you want to record it for about 29 seconds or less, not more. And then you have to upload it on your phone to your profile through the LinkedIn app. It's not something that you can do on the desktop, at least not at this time. It is your chance to give a little commercial about yourself and say what it is that you do. The same thing with this little speaker after my name. That is your name pronunciation. Now, Lynne Williams is pretty easy to pronounce, although sometimes people call me Line, believe it or not. But Williams is, I think, the 4th most popular name in the country. But I've taken that 10 seconds and I've added a little commercial at the end of it. So, if somebody clicked on this, I don't know if it'll work right now.
Hi, Lynne Williams. I can help you with an ATS-friendly resume and LinkedIn profile based on keywords.
There you go. So, add on some value proposition, in some way, shape, or form. Another thing that people ask about is, should I put my specialty where the pronouns are? And I'm going to say, I don't like that. I think you need to be respectful to the LGBTQ plus community, and the pronouns section is for pronouns. They give you standard she, her, he, him, they, them, or you can customize. And I customize and change mine to she, her, hers.
Excuse me.
Yes.
A question from Jan. What is your opinion of digital badges and logos?
Digital badges and logos. I think I'd have to know more about that question. You can get a LinkedIn badge, so to speak, and put that in your email signature, but I need more information on that.
You need more on the topic or from the question? Okay.
Yeah, on the question.
Okay,
Yeah.
on the question.
Yeah.
So Jan, if you're still online, if you want to quickly unmute and speak with Lynn, that may be more helpful at this point.
Hi, Lynn, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi. So what I'm asking is, there are a number of platforms right now, including LinkedIn, and other platforms from Fortune 500 companies where you can take courses and earn digital badges. And a lot of times employers and executive recruiters are looking for that. In addition, if you have certifications, there are logos that accompany those certifications. So I was wondering how you felt about putting those on LinkedIn as well as on resumes.
Okay. So on a resume, I am more text-based and I don't do charts. I don't use highly templated, formatted resumes because I don't think they play nice with the applicant tracking system because you never know which one you're going to get. You have over 200 applicant tracking systems that exist. Somebody recently said there was over 300, but I asked ChatGPT and it said over 200. But that was only through 2021, so you never know. It may be wrong. Now, as far as taking courses on LinkedIn and getting, those digital badges, I'm going to scroll down somewhere on here. Okay. Nope, not there. Okay, so here's courses. So if you're taking courses on LinkedIn, it does allow you to, or off LinkedIn, it does allow you to add the course to your LinkedIn profile. If an employer sees that you are a lifelong learner, that's a good thing. So I would absolutely positively, do that. Now, not all courses that you take on LinkedIn are going to give you that download. Some of them are like 10, 15 minutes, short and sweet. But if you've taken the time to do a substantial course and you have to take a test and, or something like that, again, toot your horn. I'm an educator, so I believe, you should always keep learning. I will keep learning until they put the lid on the urn for me. Now, let's see, digital courses. Oh, and okay, so let me take you to this young lady. So this is the example of the Python, SQL, R, and Java. So can you put, logos in your banner or something like that? Absolutely. Where did I get this from? I'm going to show you a guy in California. I did not do his profile. He's just, a connection of somebody I met on Clubhouse, and we, developed a relationship, and here we are, on LinkedIn. So I loved his banner idea. He now works for Netflix, but you can see the other logos of some prominent LA companies that he worked for, and you can see his databases, his ETL, and his reporting. So that's kind of where I snagged that idea from for Claire. And it says exactly, his name and who he is and what he does. So I hope that answered your question. If not, go back in the chat and ask me to clarify more. But I'm going to keep moving on because I got some good stuff coming up here. Now, I want to talk about your headline. Have you analyzed your headline? Is it impactful? There is an article I wrote, and it has a newspaper on it. How to boost your LinkedIn headline score. So I found this lady who had the headline of Integrated Digital Marketing Professional. I went to headlines.sharethrough.com. I entered her headline, and I clicked on Find Out. You can see it's 4 words, 41 characters, and now it's going to analyze it. She gets an overall score of 38, and it gives some suggestions on what she could do. It gives an engagement score of 62 and an impression score of 15. She's not very memorable. She is from some Eastern Bloc country, and I can't remember how to spell her name. I can't even remember her name. But if I'm looking for somebody as an integrated digital marketing professional, how's she going to stand out? How am I going to find her again? She's lost in that sea of 900 million people. So when I wrote this article, not that one. Okay, so when I wrote this article, I came up with a whole bunch of different things. And I thought, I'm just going to try these out. So this is the last one, just to give you an example. I thought, she's telling me about her engagements and conversions for her employer. I'm like, okay, well, you're not engaging and converting anything on LinkedIn here. So you can see this one's 211 characters. We have integrated digital marketing professional. Okay. How about, do you do social media, email marketing, SEM, SEO, web services, graphic designer, Google Analytics? Now, conversions and engagement better than hot buttery popcorn at the movies. Look at that, he's laughing, right? It makes you smile. You have good feelings about that hot buttery popcorn, right? It's memorable. You can type in popcorn or hot buttery popcorn or hot buttery popcorn at the movies on LinkedIn, and you'll find it. So now somebody whose name I can't remember or can't spell, if I'm looking for integrated digital marketing professional, popcorn is going to be memorable. Okay. How about chocolate chip cookies? You like hot chocolate chip cookies right out of the oven? Marketing executive, advertising, brand strategy, communications, social media, email marketing, project management, building brands through creative design, like chocolate chip cookies right from the oven. See the little cookie in the banner?
This is not fair to the people who are hungry.
Okay, we have a comment, not at the mic, not fair to people who are hungry. Sorry about that, folks. Okay, so no, you don't have to use food, in your banner or in your headline. But, if you can make up a word. Let's say, I don't know, you're in sales. I don't know, salesology or something, make up a word. It's okay. Anything that's going to be memorable and make you stand out and differentiate you in some way, shape, or form. So you want to go green. if at all possible. You want green, 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 or at least green, yellow, green. Who am I? I'm a techie boomer cheerleader. I'm a boomer, I like tech, and I want to be a cheerleader teaching other people like me, or even younger, using some tech skills and, in social media. So let's go to Jeffrey. Even though Jeffrey trimmed down his headline, once he landed the job, he had gone down the rabbit hole coming up with what he wanted. So I will show you, it is possible. He's 116 characters, but he's got green, green, green. So it is possible you can do this. All right, now, here's another one. Strategic campaigns is noteworthy as a clean bill of health. Okay, so here's another one. Scott was at VMware, Fortune 500 company. In 3 months, he landed at Salesforce. He went from a job to a job. He was doing career management and cleanup. Now, I did not do his LinkedIn profile, but you can see in his about section, he has italicized bold words. That's called Unicode, right? It is not readable by LinkedIn, so you don't want to make keywords in Unicode. But if you do want something to stand out, you can certainly do that. So here he has key projects and content marketing. But here I came up with his USP, writing technology stories that sell and tell. That's what he does. He loved it. So he had heard a podcast that I did about 1.5 years or so ago, and he reached out to me. He says, "Who are you? I want to talk to you." I heard a podcast. I want to know more about you. It was on the applicant tracking system. So here he is in San Diego, and just through LinkedIn, reached out and boom. So you never know how you meet people. We already talked about, having a to-present job on LinkedIn. So here's the Great Careers banner for our LinkedIn company page. And then if I did Lynne's, she's now got her full blown headline on her banner. This one at the bottom is a veteran. I've known him for 45 years, a very long time. And he left his job in the pandemic, and he said, I'm gonna, spend some time with my grandkids and my wife and renovate my shore home. And he's like, I think I want to get back to work now. So it was a couple years since he's worked. So we built this LinkedIn company page. You can also volunteer, and you can put your volunteer role in as a to-present job. But make sure that whatever it is you're doing, and you put all the keywords, hopefully, that relate to your future forward, make sure you put the word volunteer in, okay? So that way people know that you're volunteering. And it's always good to volunteer with a nonprofit that has a LinkedIn company page, because that way you can have the logo that you can download. And if you do want to volunteer for a Great Careers Group or are interested in a board position, hit me up. Happy to chat. All right, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the About section. I don't know if I mentioned or not, you have 2,600 characters. All already told you, paragraphs are hard to read. White space is your friend. I'm going to give emojis a thumbs up, and include your contact info. If you don't have the right settings set in the dashboard of your LinkedIn profile, sometimes only people who are first level connections will be able to see your contact info in the contact info section. So in order to make it easy for people to contact you, you put in your phone number and your email down at the bottom of the About section. So some ladies are sitting here saying, but Lynn, that's not safe, right? There's something called a Google phone number. So let me show you a Google phone number. I'm going to go to greatcareers.org. I'm going to go to the contact page. And by the way, this is where all our social media is. You can click on all these little icons if you want to like, follow, join, blah, blah, blah. But right here, do you see this 484-393-2951? That is a Google phone number. Do you know where it goes to? Right there. How do I know I'm getting a Google call? It says call from, and somebody has to announce their name. To accept, push 1. I push 1. And then I know to answer it, Great Careers Group, but sometimes I still answer it, hi, this is Lynn, how can I help you? Versus hello, if somebody's calling me in my personal phone number. So if you don't want to publish your phone number per se, but you need a phone number to make it easy for a recruiter or a hiring manager to contact you, try a Google phone number, absolutely free.
Excuse me, Lynn.
Sure.
So just the tech guy talking.
Okay.
It's technically the product is Google Voice.
Google Voice, thank you.
Voice.google.com.
Thank you. Okay. Couple more here. I just want to read this one. This slide is very important information here. To cognitive neuroscientists, humans seem to be developing digital brains with new circuits for skimming through the torrent of information online. This alternative way of reading is competing with our traditional deep reading circuitry developed over several millennia. This is a Washington Post article, and this quote really stood out at me. And this reiterates what I was saying about paragraphs on LinkedIn in the About section. We need to skim and scan because we're just inundated, every day with information. So think about that. Now, I'm going to switch gears to keywords. And I'm going to do some demos, but I might wind up doing some demos, a couple demos at the end. What time do I have until, David?
Probably about 11:45-ish.
Okay, great. All right, super. Okay, we'll get through this. All right. So I want to put keywords and a key title in LinkedIn. So if you happen to be, you want maybe more a generic term, like marketing executive. The reason being is when you write a resume, I believe in having a good solid base resume, and you take that base resume and you go file, save as ABC company, file, save as XYZ company. When you save that resume, you want to customize and tailor the resume to the job description. So your title on your LinkedIn profile needs to be a little bit more generic than your resume title, which is going to be specific and geared towards that job description. So you've got that matchiness. A lot of people have the word profile summary at the top of their resume. Get rid of it. It's a wasted line. recruiters can't, and hiring managers don't focus on who you are, what you want to do, and what you want to be when you grow up, if you don't tell them the title that you're trying to be, going to. And some people say, but I'm not at that level. I want to move from manager to director. I'm like, okay, so put director. That way people know that that's the role that you're trying to get to. You're not lying in your past job experience. You're just focusing on your future forward and where you want to go. And, especially when you're doing reinventions, I had a Marine Corps colonel. After 30 years, he wanted to leave Florida and retire with his wife and move to Charlotte, North Carolina. So we positioned him as a CIO, and he wanted either corporate or he wanted higher ed. Well, in 3 months, he was working, he landed as an SVP at Bank of America. So he didn't get the CIO, but it's still a very nice job. So you can position yourself to something new. Being a Marine Corps colonel has nothing to do with, the corporate or higher ed jobs that he was aspiring to. It's a matter of communicating, why you're making this transition. I had another client who owned a dry cleaner store in Philadelphia. It was very successful. He was so into Salesforce. He took so many Salesforce administration courses. He's like, I want to be a Salesforce administrator. Like, okay, let's reinvent you. So we still have the dry cleaner business in there, but all the keywords, the headline, the about section, the banner, which he built, like everything was Salesforce. So he positioned himself for his future forward. So don't think about, you can't change your past, but you can change how you present yourself in your future trajectory. So aside from the headline having keywords, the about section has keywords, and I've shown some examples. Your job titles. Okay, here's an interesting thing. This gentleman I did a little over a year ago, so he doesn't have a USP. I wasn't doing those at that point in time. But one night, he did 2 things to his LinkedIn profile, 2 things only. One was he got the keywords in his headline, and the other thing is he got the keywords in an embellished job title. That's it. Nothing else. No resume, no LinkedIn, nothing. So what happened was he got a call 3 days later from a recruiter who was looking up latency and co-location. Can I give you the definitions of those words? Heck no. I have no idea what they mean, but he does. And somebody was looking for somebody that had that expertise. Let's go up to his headline. Look at this, co-location. Do you see latency? No. So how was he found? Well, this is up for grabs. You have some career coaches that'll say, no, LinkedIn's a database. You need to just use the title that you were given. And there's others like me who will say, hey, you got 100 characters. Put your real title at the get-go because you don't want to lie. That's the one that's going to be on your resume. And embellish it with keywords. Just make sure that it's stuff you want to do future forward and not stuff that you hated doing in the past. So, I believe in embellishing job titles, but until you do a whole keyword analysis, and figure out, what you want to say about yourself and what makes sense for the job, you don't know what to put in. Go ahead.
Yeah, that makes sense when you also have an odd job title.
Yes, like Chief Happiness Officer. Like, what the heck is that?
Or Analyst 2.
Yes, Analyst 2. Yeah, Project Manager 3. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. So here is the About section. You'll see I have a very particular style, right? Here's the profile summary paragraph. And you see how it starts out with executive sales leader? The other one was marketing executive, etc. No fluffy adjectives, folks. A results-oriented, blah, 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 fluffy adjective, something, something. Just start out and tell them who you are and what you're looking for. Cut the fluffy adjectives. Make it clean and clear and concise and succinct so, you're not wasting people's time. Now, let's talk about your accomplishments. I don't need fluffy adjectives. I need numbers, percents, dollars, and numbers. Here we go. Sales management and leadership, strategic and tactical visionary, business development champion, relationship manager. He needs to finish that sentence. But here's the core competencies, and here's his contact info. I mean, he's working at this company. Another person just doing career management. I get a lot of people who want to sort of build a brand and do career management. They're not always looking for a job. Okay, your skills section. Let's go down to a skills section. You can have 50 skills. This one has only 31. But you want to make sure that the skills make sense and are in LinkedIn's database. When you try to add words, the AI is going to make suggestions for you. And if you want to put a different form of the word in here in core competencies, because it's your sort of lingo and vernacular, for your industry, that's okay. But you have to think like a database. LinkedIn is a database. You want to make sure that the key title is, in the database, that the keywords are in the database, or you take liberties in the about section in calling it what you want. So like Stacy is all about basic needs, like housing and food for, first generation college students. So basic needs, is something that she wanted to share, in her about section that was important. So you have to be able to flex, but be able to look up the keywords in the database. So let me just show you an example. This is my standard example, and if you've been to my presentations before, I'm sorry, I'm going to show it again. I'm clicking on the Jobs tab. I'm going to type in Project Manager. I'm going to tab over, and I'm going to choose Greater Philadelphia. Right here, you see that there are 9,097 results in the dark blue section. If I were to change this to project management and I were to search again, there's now 23,264. Which word do you think you want to use in your headline? If you think of yourself as part of a circle, and it's a pie, you want the big part of the pie for the generic keywords so you can get found. But you have some secret sauce. You have expertise, you have specialty in a niche. So you're your little niche-y part of the pie. You're not going to get big numbers in the niche-y part of the pie, but it's who you are and somebody needs what you got. So it's a balance of an art and a science, in my humble opinion, of the keywords. So I'm going to take this one step further. I'm going to go to Google Trends, which is trends.google.com. I'm going to put in Project Manager. explore. And I'm going to compare it to project management. Now, this says United States. I don't want United States. I want Philadelphia. Well, I could choose the Delaware side of Philadelphia, as in Wilmington. I could choose the Cherry Hill or Princeton side of Philadelphia, or I could choose the Pennsylvania side. I'm a Pennsylvania girl, sorry folks, even though I'm here in New Jersey. I'm going with Pennsylvania. Now here, this says the past day. I don't want the past day. I want to get like the past 90 days. What's being searched on Google? Well, look at that. I have data. I have a bar chart, I have a line chart. The data says project management is being searched more than project manager. So to me, that absolutely positively aligns with what's going on LinkedIn, right? So I don't have time, and clients don't have time to search each and every single word, on both platforms. But some of the major words, yeah, that are important to you, I would definitely do a Google Trends search. But I believe in doing data-driven decision-making. As a former K-12 teacher, I took a student at the beginning of the year, and we got a baseline as to where that student was. Then we measure them quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. And hopefully the student has gained, skills, and the baseline numbers have increased. I take that same concept and I apply it to job seekers with keywords. Now I'm a little bit of a WordPress geek, so that is 43% of all websites are built on WordPress. Believe it or not, I run my business. I don't have a website. I use my LinkedIn profile. But I have the nonprofit website, which helps masses of people, rather than me tooting my own personal horn. So I build SEO into the back end of my blogs with keywords, meta descriptions, etc. So I apply my knowledge of website and SEO to LinkedIn. Because isn't LinkedIn a website? Doesn't it have keywords? In 2016, I wrote a chapter in a book that was published by the ATD, Association of Talent Development. 15 other career coaches from around the country contributed to that book. My chapter started being about ATS, Applicant Tracking System, but it expanded into applying for jobs. But Applicant Tracking System, we're talking about, a database that employers use where you can take your resume and submit it, upload it. And job descriptions have keywords and key phrases in them, right? So I'm kind of mashing all my knowledge together here and applying it to LinkedIn. So I'm taking my K-12 data-driven decision-making, plus I take, the website stuff and the ATS stuff, and I kind of mash it all together. So I believe in keywords. I think they're very important because what is a recruiter going to go and log in to find somebody like you? Now, a couple weeks ago, I wrote an article on reverse recruiting. And a lot of times, you're going to find there's a disconnect in applying for a job versus employers who have jobs. And so now there are people that are doing reverse recruiting where they are, taking a job candidate and applying the candidate to employers, with certain skills. So you've got to have those skills crisp and clear on your LinkedIn. All right, I have a few more slides, and I can see David standing up at the back, so that's my hint. Yeah, I'm looking at the time here. Okay. So I am speaking about the applicant tracking system coming up in another month or so. I'll show you where to find those speaking engagements. Let me just keep going here. So I'm not sure that I'm going to have time today to do these other demos. I actually do this in a workshop called How to Develop Successful Job Search Strategies. And I also do it in my part 3 of 3 LinkedIn workshop, which is 3 hours long. So again, I might be getting the cane on my neck here, so I may not be able to do that today. Now, when you publish on LinkedIn, there's all kinds of different things that you can publish, like this whole list. This coming April 15th, I always teach LinkedIn, a 3-hour workshop at the Chester County Library. I've been teaching for them for over 9 years. Believe it or not, I can't believe it. Come September, it'll be 10 years. So this coming third Saturday of April will be LinkedIn part 2 or 3, which is all about publishing newsletters, posting and whatnot. And so you can learn more about that if you come live. It is not recorded. So here's your homework. You have to update your skills, your public profile settings, joins groups, etc. You got a profile checklist, the basic sections that you've got to fill out. Here's my contact information. And just last week, I was named as one of the top 15 LinkedIn experts in Philadelphia. I was very surprised and honored. And last year, I was put on this list of the top 50 LinkedIn experts international. So that was kind of cool too. Now, I'm going to go back to my profile because I want to show you where you can find me for upcoming workshops. Right here on my LinkedIn profile, you have this Linktree link. You click on that. And the second one down says my upcoming speaking events. So you can see all the different topics, and these are all the places I'm booked from now until December. If you go down to the very end, you're going to see, okay, this is where I've already spoken in 2023, all those workshops. Now, also, just before that, you're going to see Resume Strategies 2023. So I have carousel decks where it's like a PowerPoint, but it's on Canva. It's a deck, and you just flip them, and then there's commentary. It'll take you a little while to get through those, but hopefully it'll help you with your job search. The very top link is the Great Careers Group nonprofit. So, we don't have a David Shuckman philanthropist at the Great Careers Group who pays for all the expenses to run the group.
We don't have one here.
Right. Well, that's because, David does it. But so we have a very small membership fee. It's under $1 a week to support our nonprofit because we do up to 600 events a year. We're a very active group. So here's the free LinkedIn workshops, and this is what it looks like with the Chester County Library system. So here's part 2 of 3, 3 of 3, 1 of 3. And again, I've been doing this every single month for over 9 years. And they send out the link at 8 o'clock in the morning, the day of. But we have interview prep and whatnot. Last thing I want to show you is my featured section. So every week I put a little video out of what's coming up for the week, and it's about a minute or so. I always put my article that I write for the week, and this is about a LinkedIn signature. And then here is the newsletter. So if you click on this Career News Today, and you click subscribe, you'll see I have 4,961 subscribers. I only write it once a week. You will get notified. So this particular link is, have you built a LinkedIn signature? This one's how to be memorable on LinkedIn. There's the reverse recruiting, etc. So I will just show you what that LinkedIn signature looks like, and another thing to help you build your brand on LinkedIn. And then David could get the cane out. So here it is.
Gary to get the cane.
Oh, okay, he sent Gary to get the cane, great. All right, so here's my post. And here I tagged Princeton Public Library. And here's the link. And then here's my LinkedIn signature. So I give my little bio here, got my little pops of emojis. It's probably a little bit longer than most people, but it covers my 3 hats that I wear. And then here's my CTA, call to action. Like what I share, ring the bell on my profile, subscribe to my weekly newsletter, follow that hashtag, and follow the Great Careers Group. Then I put my hashtags at the bottom. Now you'll notice LinkedIn Tips is one of my 5 creator mode hashtags, but I also put other relevant hashtags in. So when you post, you have to have a posting strategy. Comment, 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 post, be around to engage with anybody, over the first hour or so of your post, and then comment, comment, comment on other people's posts. Your post will go farther if you engage on the platform. So get out there and start creating content, posts, and follow people in your target companies and make comments on their posts, okay? They will start to notice you if you become a consistent poster. So, I don't know if anybody has any questions for me, but I'm now 2 minutes over, and I don't want to get in trouble. So, thank you for having me.
Oh, sure.
Lynne?
Oh, there is one question, it sounds like.
Right. Lynne, I wondered if you have any comments on the classic, is the for cost version of LinkedIn worth it? What do you think?
Good question. You have to know why you want to pay. I believe that you can do just fine with a free account, but you have to know why you're going to pay for an account, and you have to take advantage of it. I had somebody that had 70 some odd connections. Should I pay for premium account? Heck no, you're not there yet. You don't know enough about LinkedIn to make that decision. So you have to know why you need it.
Actually, there's a lot of stuff in there now about how you compare to your competition for jobs that are posted on LinkedIn.
Yes, if you want me to pull up, let me go back to the jobs. So let me put in project management. So I do have the premium account. I'm just going to pull up this one at Deloitte. And when I pull up the job full blown, you're going to see down here is the skills section. This is free to everybody, if I'm not mistaken. So you need to take note of these particular keywords because that's what they're asking for. Then here's your whole job description. And then here, this is the premium section. Most common applicant skills. So, when I work with clients, yes, I take screenshots of this if they have a free account. But I think you can do well enough by analyzing the job description, pulling out keywords and key phrases, and taking out these important skills out the top to at least get you by. Because, if you're a job seeker, you got to watch your pennies.
So,
good. Step up to the mic.
So along those lines with the skills.
A little closer.
Along those lines with the skills, if you can just call back.
Yep.
You just showed. Those skills that they have, are they the ones that you self-select for each of your jobs underneath, or are they deduced by the system to know that you are, I don't know, financial systems, executive visibility?
This is particular to this particular job posting.
No, but if I want to say, like, this match your profile, do I have to choose confidentiality as a skill that I had in one of my jobs previously? They have these
Yeah.
skills in these jobs.
I believe that this is part of the skills section.
Right.
So that's why you have to go with what's in the database for LinkedIn, but you can put something different, a different form of the word in the about
But
section.
it seems silly to me to list 10 of those skill sets for each of the jobs I have. It
Yes.
seems overkill. So I don't quite understand.
That's why if you have a base resume, you customize it and you flip out your keywords. I have 10 in 3 columns, so I might set up 30 keywords in a base resume. You can always reduce it, but it's nice if you got the resume formatted, more white space is better. But you can flip out, budgets, budgeting, project manager, project management, team leadership, cross-functional team leadership, et cetera.
Right. What I'm saying is, those words you just mentioned, they could be in the description of the job, not necessarily when they have those little bullets, 10 skills you have at that job. So do I have to specify confidentiality? Can I have it in my profile section, or do I actually have to list it as a
It's the
as an
skill at the
individual?
bottom.
Right. so
That's
you
what
have
this
to-
is matching.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's a skill at the bottom that it's matching, I believe.
right.
But why can't you, you only have one LinkedIn profile, but you can have as many resumes as you want. I don't ever believe anybody should put and post a resume on their LinkedIn profile because it's not customized. So if you know that they're wanting these skills, you weave this into your resume, or you weave it into the verbiage, somewhere, way, shape, or form on LinkedIn. Like if this is the job, you're like, oh my gosh, this fits me like a kid glove. I want this job. Then you're going to maybe tweak your LinkedIn profile for the matchiness versus, some other job. But you can't keep changing your LinkedIn profile, too terribly much. But there's something interesting I heard at the Wall Street Journal Summit on Tuesday. And if you've probably heard of JT O'Donnell, she said that every 2 weeks you should change your headline in LinkedIn because it helps the algorithm in some way, shape, or form. And I'm like, gosh, I never heard that before. So I don't know where she learned that, or what birdie told her that, or if it's a theory. I don't know, but it's something that I just learned about and I'm sharing.
That does have to be the last one. I'm sorry.
Okay, very good. So now the library is the bad cop, so which is actually why we do have a time limit. We are here in partnership with the library. So thank you very much. So, Lynn, there were so many wonderful gems from this presentation, and that's kind of your MO. You just provide so much information. It is a little bit hard to summarize because there's so much information here. But on the other hand, it can feel, if you're kind of new to hearing this much, it can feel overwhelming. Don't let it be overwhelming. It's like that joke, how do you eat the 1,000-pound elephant, right? One bite at a time. Find 1 or 2 of these gems that you heard today that you think are really relevant, or the ones that will be most helpful to you, and start with those. Just start with those 1 or 2. Lynn has introduced you to so many, you'll get to others as you can. Start with 1 or 2, because if you look at this as a big complicated thing, you will not move forward at all. So really look that way. Of course, you can always reach out to Lynn. She provided her contact information. It's in our chat log, which will be posted as well. So you can get that later. So you can always reach out to Lynn whenever you need to. But LinkedIn is extremely robust for job seekers, and that's why I'm so glad we were able to present this program today. As we wrap up and as we look forward to the future weeks, it's April next week. Wow. So April 7th, next week, I'll be doing a presentation, Overcome Legal Discrimination. Overcome Legal Discrimination. And we'll be talking about 5 tips that we have for overcoming legal discrimination. And the following week, the 14th, Janelle Rosino will be here. Recruiter Janelle Rosino. So always fun when Janelle is here. So that's what's coming up. And of course, you can always visit our cousin organizations. PSG of Central New Jersey meets Mondays at 10:30, PSG cnj.biz, and PSG of Morris County meets Wednesdays. They open their electronic doors at 8:30, start the meeting at 9:30, psgmc.org. So that's our meeting for today. Lynn, thanks again so much for being here. And for being here in person. And but until we get to see you next week, or whenever we get to see you, we'll simply say, bye, everybody.